Hey there, how are you? I love to be early? What is that? How are you? Where are you from? My name is Sarah, aka the Mill Coach, and I live in the Denver area, and I am a leadership coach for millennials. So those people who want to do big epic stuff. Hey Florida Scott, good to see you. It's been a couple of days, right? How are you? Hope you've had a lovely Monday. Mine's been good, lots of work done, and now I am just kind of taking a nice evening, work sesh. I'm doing some great content creation, making some videos tonight for a couple of my clients, and I thought I would hop on really quick and just talk to you for a quick moment about being slow, right? Which is complete opposite of what my nature is. Right, so tell me, do you think or do you agree with what Stephen Covey says, and that with people, fast is slow and slow is fast? If you agree, tap on your screen. If you agree that with people, slow is fast and fast is slow. All right, seeing a couple of hearts there. Hey Caroline, good to see you. We're talking about the fact that with relationships, our gut instinct sometimes is to just like rush through it, right? We meet somebody that we love and we just, want to, be with them all the time. And say, that's all right, but we've got to remember that it takes time to build relationships, whether it's with a professional or if it's for a personal relationship. It's definitely something that takes an investment. So tell me, as you are thinking about this idea of with people, fast is slow and slow is fast, what comes up for you? What does that even look like? Hey, how are you guys doing? So we're talking about relationships. Yeah, so whether you are leading a big team, whether you're just leading yourself and your family, what does it look like to be slow in relationships? And I've got just a couple of examples that are popping into my mind, and I'm really curious to see what it is that's popping up for you. Right? For one, I think that with relationships, slow looks like listening, right? And listening with empathy, right? Slow meaning, no, don't think so. Right? Slow meaning that, okay, we just had this great conversation, and instead of just assuming that I heard everything that you said, I want to check for some understanding, right? I want to identify the emotions that you just shared with me and the reasons that you're feeling those emotions, right? It's empathic listening. It's saying, oh, wow, you just told me this amazing story. It sounds like you're excited. It sounds like you're frustrated. It sounds like you're whatever the emotion is, and here's the reason. Right? It's taking that time between the stimulus of what you just heard and the response, right? Whether you are agreeing or evaluating it or whatever, right? It's about taking that space and just hearing somebody, right? Hearing is like giving somebody psychological air, right? It's fabulous for relationships. And so what are you doing to slow down with those people that you really care about most? Do I run? I don't. I am a yoga girl. Slow and steady winning the race. Yes, yes. So strong relationships aren't just something that are built overnight, right? I think that it's something that takes intention. Slow is marinating on information before acting or making a decision. I love that, Florida Scott, right? It's all about saying, I'm going to be intentional. I'm not just going to have this knee-jerk reaction, right? I'm going to just think about it. I'm going to savor it, right? Hey, for everybody that's just joining in, we're talking about the fact that with people, slow is fast and fast is slow. Right? Go with the flow. I love that. Yes. So, as I was coaching employees, I would oftentimes have to be in a position where I had to come up with action plans. Right? And it was like, I wanted to see this immediate turnaround, and you lose patience, right? And you're just like, I want to see this improved performance right now. But I had to constantly remind myself that, this is a process. Right? And it takes this investment of my energy, and not just that snap judgment, because it's really easy to judge people, right? And do that really, really quickly. But it's another thing to, really try to slow down and figure out, well, why is there a miss, right? What's really going on? Is it a knowledge thing? Is it an attitude thing? Is it a mix of those things? I mean, what's really at the heart, right? And you could make that judgment and feel like you understand in a heartbeat, but most times you don't, right? So it's about slowing down, asking really great questions, leading with that compassion, that empathy, and then figuring out what you need to do next, right? It's also about putting down your cell phone, right? And really trying to connect with people, right? I think that relationships can struggle because you're not just present, right? There's all these distractions that we kind of let seep in. So sometimes we got to slow down, right? And say what really matters. Have I given somebody some great feedback lately, or have I just assumed that they know, right? So hey. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say today on that part. Just remind yourself that Rome wasn't built overnight, right? And that it does take time. What's the best advice I've ever been given? Oh my gosh, that's a really big question, right? If I had to answer that tonight, the best advice I've ever been given, I think it would have to come from my 4-H leader from way back when. I was born and raised in southeastern Idaho, and I was a horse fanatic, still am a horse fanatic, and my 4-H leader was freaking fantastic. In many ways, I think he and his family saved my life, right? I was came from a single parent home, didn't have a whole lot going on for me, and they just kind of wrapped me in love. And they basically said, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter how much money you have, who your parents are. It's really about, are you willing to try? And are you willing to show up every single day, even when it's not really easy? So I think that's the best advice, is just know you can do it. And it's not a matter of your circumstance, it's a matter of your courage. What's the most difficult thing I've ever dealt with? Oh, you guys are getting deep tonight. I like this. Probably disappointment and not being able to follow my intuition. I got married when I was 21, and it lasted for about 2.5 years, and I knew the moment I walked down the aisle that it wasn't the right choice for me. I was a baby, and I did it anyway. And so I think that was a really tough lesson to learn. I knew that in my heart that wasn't the right thing, but I went through, and yeah, he was a really great guy. And I hate saying that I have an ex-husband, but I do. And eventually I met my Husker loving hubby that I have now, and it's great. But that was really difficult. So sometimes I've not had great choices in men because I'm not trusting my intuition. So that's honestly the hardest thing you've ever dealt with. I think. There's a lot of things that I've had to deal with, but that's one of the hardest, is that, I made a huge commitment to somebody else, and I kind of, fucked it up. Because I wasn't really being real with myself. Another hard thing that I've had to deal with in my life is, just being somebody who, had to deal with things like parents who were alcoholics, being a single kid who was home alone a lot, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we could get into Sarah's deep, dark secrets one day, but I think that it's really just about, you've got to be able to trust your intuition no matter what your circumstance is. So that's my main message for tonight. I appreciate those comments and those questions. So yeah, I was born and raised in Pocatello, Idaho, and then I lived in Arizona for about 7 years, and now I live in the Denver area, and I am a coach. So I work with young professionals who know that they want to blaze epic trails, but maybe they're not exactly sure how to get there. So I help to get them really, really focused and moving into action, right? Because the world needs more love and leadership, and that's what I'm here for. So to wrap things up with tonight's Periscope, just remember that with people, slow is fast and fast is slow, and leadership is freaking everywhere. You only need to look for it. And so thank you for making something nice on Periscope. Thank you for that kind of comment. I think there's a lot of crap out there, right? And you can waste a lot of time and energy on things that are hateful or negative. And I say you got to shine a light on things that matter most. So yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the last thing I'll share is, like I said, leadership is everywhere if you only choose to look for it, right? If you see the light, you will, have really great things happening. You can learn and grow through anything, even mistakes. Absolutely. I think my divorce and my not listening to my intuition, that just made my desire to follow my gut even bigger, right? It's just one of those lessons. So leadership is also found in animals. Right. Everyone is like doing drugs on Periscope. Stop hurting yourself, people, right? I don't understand that. It's like, let me just show you the pain. I think there's a lot of pain. And so I think animals can teach us a lot of like love. And so tonight I'm going to pick an animal and we're just going to talk about why they can show us leadership and what it really means. I'm really interested in all types of wisdom, right? Natural wisdom. I read a lot. And so animal medicine is something that is really cool. I like you more every time I hear you. Oh, thanks, Scott. That's super sweet. And we've got lots of emojis, cows and koalas and octopus and pandas, yes. So I have a really cool book that I've been playing with because Native American wisdom has been speaking to me, so I've been leaning into that. And so I've got this medicine cards book, and I've got a deck of cards that have all different types of animals. And so Florida Scott, how about you tell me when to stop shuffling the cards, and I'll just pick one, and then we'll read and see what kind of leadership and awesomeness and love and positivity we can bring into the world tonight. All right, he says stop, and we bring elk. Right, do you have elk where you are? Tap your screen, give me some hearts if you've got elk in your part of the woods. We do have elk here in Colorado. Actually just saw one not maybe more than a mile from my house. They're pretty awesome. Yay, seeing some hearts there, beautiful. So no, she's saying I don't have elk near you. Oh my God, this is truly the animal I was thinking of. Well, how about that? Not in Maine, no elk. Well, if you even just like are thinking of elk, here's something that you can consider. They're about stamina, right? And if you're gonna do epic shit, if you're gonna go and bring some more love and leadership in the world, it's not a one-time deal. And I think this is interesting because we were talking about with people, slow is fast and fast is slow, right? Well, stamina, you have to keep coming back, right? And you've got to like know that it's a marathon and not a sprint. And so let's see what it has to say about the elk. It says, elk, your antlers reach for the sun. Show me that strength and stamina are one. It says, elk wandered through the forest looking for a partner. The mating season was in full swing, and the bucks that usually traveled with the other males had dispersed to find mates for the season. As elk bellowed his mating call through the forest, his bugling alerted the mountain lion that a feast could be in the making. Mountain lion circled elk, getting closer to the prey, moment by moment. Elk sensed the impending danger when the forest grew suddenly silent. He broke for the high country when he spotted his pursuer, but mountain lion was far behind. As elk made a running leap for the timberline, mountain lion gained on him, but elk continued to run onward, displaying tremendous stamina. Finally, mountain lion gave up, having his energy in spurts as he tried to jump over boulders to reach elk. Elk paced himself, making headway as he climbed skyward toward the high country. Elk had no other defense except his ability to go the distance, setting the pace that allowed him to utilize his stamina and energy to the fullest. Elk medicine teaches that pacing yourself will increase your stamina. Elk medicine people may not be the first ones to arrive at the goal, but they always arrive without getting burned out. Right? If you've taken on too much recently, it might be a good idea to look at how you plan to finish what you've started without ending up in the hospital. So this is a good message for us, right? Because just slow down, we're going. What can you do to create this energy that isn't just gonna be a one-stop shop? Elk have the curious kind of warrior energy because except at mating time, they honor the the company of their own gender. So men hang with men, the women hang with women. I didn't know that. They can call on their medicine of brotherhood or sisterhood. In discovering the strength which is gained from loving the gender that is your own, you will feel the camaraderie-ship that arises from similarity of experience. This is a special medicine that allows the friendship of others of your same sex to overcome potential competition or jealousy. Right? And I love the idea of just sisterhood and brotherhood and coming together to support and create a community that is empowering and supportive of one another. Hey, if you just joined in, we're talking about what elk can teach us about leadership. And we started the conversation today about the fact that with people, fast is slow and slow is fast, and that relationship building can take time. And elk stand for stamina, which is an interesting kind of pairing there. So to wrap things up about elk, it says if you've picked elk, you may be telling yourself to seek the company of your own gender for a while. You may need a support group to realign yourself with the stamina of the warrior or warrioress energy that you're a part of. This communication with others of your own sex allows you to air your feelings in safety and to get feedback from others who have the same experiences. You may need a new sense of community in unity. So there you go. There's some beautiful wisdom from Elk today. You guys enjoy building those relationships slowly, and I'll be back here again. Go and check out my website, sarahjoes.com. I coach rock stars who know that they've got really big things to bring into this world. So if you are thinking that 2016 is going to be a killer year for you and you want to throw some freaking gas on it, then let's definitely talk, because that's what my passion is. That's what my purpose is. Again, love and leadership. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hopping in my